Hey YouTube, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a first time stopping by, I talk about things stationery, fountain pen related, and occasionally some art stuff. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. You guys are getting me closer to my goal. I am filming this on Thanksgiving Day, 2023. So for everybody who's in the States and Canada, happy Thanksgiving. So let's get into it. I've got this quick unboxing to do and a brief little bit of an update. I've already unpackaged this because I bought this fountain pen at the Farney Fall Show 2023 in Washington, D.C. It was a very small pen show from a local D.C. Fountain pen reseller, fine pen writing instrument kind of place in the Metro Center area of DC, and I decided to stop by. I was actually going there to buy ink, and the show was going on. I knew the show was going on. I wasn't anticipating on buying anything. However, I got this little gem for 50% off, and I just could not pass because it was one of the manufacturers of fountain pens that I've been looking at, but I hadn't seen anything quite yet that I wanted to pull the trigger on, but I went ahead and decided to pull the trigger on it. It was between one of these three models that I have, so I'm going to zoom you in. Esterbrook was also there. They had Pilot there and Kaweco. And then they had Yaffa. Yaffa is one of the North American distributors for Conklin, Monteverde, Maiora, Peniter in North America. Those are some of the key brands that they sell. I spoke to Ken Jones. It was really good to talk to him. And I also talked to, if anybody's been to a pen show in 2023, the guy that's always at the Esterbrook table, he was also there. And he gave me free blotter papers for the Esterbrook Raven series. I was asking him at the show whether or not Esterbrook planned on producing the black nibs. I got my Black Raven fountain pen in a medium, and I really wanted it in a fine nib, but it was sold out everywhere, and I was just asking him if they were going to reproduce extra nibs with that black coating, and he said actually yes they are. So if anybody's looking to get a different nib size off of the Raven that bought one, that's going to come out starting in 2024. Also, there's a very good chance that if you did miss out on the Raven, that's going to be part of the standard lineup for Esterbrook. So a little bit of insight on the fountain pen world. Okay, without further ado, I showed you these wonderful blotting sheets that I got for free from Esterbrook, and thank you so much, Esterbrook, if you ever listen to this, but they probably won't. And then Ken Jones from Yaffa, thank you for showing up at the pen show as well. I ended up getting, I know it says Monteverde, but it's not a Monteverde fountain pen. This is the Maiora fountain pen. It's an Italian fountain pen. Absolutely stunning. It has some translucency, as you can probably see up here into the cap. It also has a blind filler cap like certain Italian brands do, like that. So you can do a blind fill on the back end. But it is a cartridge converter as well as it takes the international cartridge. I bought this one in a extra fine nib, knowing that it is a it is a Italian fountain pen, and then you can see the beautiful Maiora nib and all of its splendor and glory. And I just like this. This also has a it feels great in hand. I can post it, but I probably won't. I would make it slightly back end heavy, but not unbearable. But this grip section, I went between this and a couple of other versions of the Maiora fountain pen. One was, they were slightly shorter than the length of this one, just a little bit, not a lot, maybe a centimeter and a half. And the grip sections were much more, a little bit wider than this one, but this one is still very comfortable in hand. And then it came down to the nib size, because I really do like, on the Italian fountain pens, I do like an extra fine. So I didn't get a Maiora box because Ken Jones just whipped into his box and gave me this for the case, so I don't have the matching kit, but this pen is stellar. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this. Well, I'm going to not ink it up, but I'm going to dip it so that you can see what the writing sample looks like. I'm just using my handy dandy old tape dispenser holder. I'm going to use my new binder. So I talked about this in the last video, that this is a sample paper binder, so I can kind of keep track of all the different types of paper, how ink behaves on each type of paper. I did kind of do a currently inked in this, and I'll leave the link up above in the corner section if you guys want to take a review of this. Post editing, I went ahead and did use the various provided dividers, and I've labeled them with the type of paper that I'm using. And I decided to go ahead and use some of these sheets that there were already provided. Like this binder came with this ruler, it came with the end sheet paper here, and then it came with a whole bunch of these memo sheets, and then it came with all the divider sections, which I'm using to divide the various types of fountain pen friendly paper. I have Iliofold in the front. I have the Takumi paper that I got from Ginny Bic. I've got Yakamoto paper. Hold on just a second. This is this Takumi paper. I went ahead and laminated the sheet so I could kind of keep track of what papers that I have. And then in this one, I have the Yakamoto paper sample of fountain pen friendly paper. And currently I have in here the #1 thin paper off of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a writing sample of that. And what I've decided to do is I just copied, all of these are kind of printed on, I would call kind of parchment paper. And it tells you a little bit about what each number of the series is. I think there's 16 total in the sample pack, and you get 4 sheets of each. And so this first one is #1 thin paper, which I've gone ahead and kept labeled down below. And then I have in the very back, Old Tomoe River, sorry, get that to focus. I have Old Tomoe River paper, which, as we all know, is no longer being made. But I took some of the writing pages that I have out and I put that in. And now we're going to have Tomoe River Sans and paper. So I did test sheets with the Iliofold just to see what it looked like for my November currently inked. I have, sorry about that, really loud car passing by. I have then done some sample sheets on this, and this is how November is currently wrapping up. I keep adding pens as I decommission other ones that have ran dry. I'm going ahead and putting that in there. So I'm going to skip that sheet since it has a blob in it. And I am now going to dip this pen with Sailor Yurimiku Kuya Kuya. I hope I'm not butchering it too bad. I'm sorry if I am. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to dip this and give you a writing sample of that. And this is an ink color that I've been thinking about buying a bottle for, but I haven't gotten it yet. And I'm just going to make sure I don't overly ink. And I'm going to also screw this cap back on. Sorry about that. I forgot to grab a paper towel so I can wipe off excessive ink on this. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to do this. Today is November 23rd. And this is the Maiora. Hold on a second, I want to make sure I spell this right. And this model is called the Aventus Pearl. Gold, and this is in a extra fine. I love how this writes. This has great feedback. And then this is Sailor Urameku Kuya. And this pen writes so nicely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I like this. And the ink looks like that. So let's just zoom in. So that's what it looks like on Iliophode. Let's go down and look at it on the next one, and I'm going to have to do entry points. This is what some of the writing sample looks like on this artesian paper from Tamakumi. Okay, so this one, November 23rd, 2023. And I will pull, sorry, I get this to stabilize here. I will pull the papers out when I'm done. Ventus Pearl. Oops, almost put pearl wrong. This is an extra fine. And this is Sailor. I always want to spell this wrong. And that looks like that on there. Ooh, that comes out a little bit greener on this paper. Okay, so let's go and see what it looks like on this #1 Yakamoto paper. And I'm going to just probably do dates and entries, so I'm just going to probably have a running total. I probably need to consider using different pens or cataloging them by the pen and the ink. However, I've got so many that I would be blowing through a lot of paper pretty quickly. So I'm going to just do it by date. This is November. Wow, this does not looks a little bit blacker on this one. 23, November 23, 2023, Thanksgiving Day. Okay, so we've got, let's just do my little square here. And just to fill in quite nicely. This pearl. Extra fine. And this is a gold-plated pen, but I'm not going to put that down. Let's just do it like this. Oops, I did this a little bit different, but still you get the gist of what it looks like. I like the edge on this pen. That's what that shade looks like. And then let's go into the old Tomoe River paper. Just double check. Yep. Okay. My battery's telling me I'm almost dead here. November 23, so I gotta hurry this up. 2023. And this is Ventus pearl, extra fine. And let's make sure I do my squiggle figure eights first. My horizontals, I can even do upstrokes. They do fairly well. And there's that. And there's that. Okay, so let's compare now what the papers look like differently. I should have pulled these out as we did them so we can see what they look like. This is the paper, an old Tomoe River paper. It doesn't show the shades of green as much in the old Tomoe River paper, and it looks like this is a standard ink, so there's no shimmer, there's no sheening. And then when you look at it, just hold this up actually, since my camera is almost dead. This is what it looks like in the #1 thin paper from Yakamoto, and you do see a little bit, you might not see it on camera, but I can see it in person. It does bring out the green a little bit more on this paper than it does even on Tomoe River original. And then the Takumi Spirit of the Artisan paper, you definitely see in real life a little bit more of the green as well. You can definitely tell on the smear. But all of these are handling, just double check. There's no ghosting really or bleed through on this artisan paper. The Yakima #1 paper has a little bit of ghosting, not too horrible, and no bleed through. And then the original Tomoe River, a little bit of ghosting and no bleed through. And on the Ilfo paper, this looks slightly more blue, but it might come off across green. I'm definitely picking up some of the blue in the ink. And on this paper, you can see ghosting, but no bleed through. So on this sample of papers, this ink performs extremely well from a fountain pen perspective. So that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for the feedback when I did do this video talking about this method of kind of keeping papers for comparison. It was very good to see that it was very well received. And until next time, you guys have a safe and wonderful holiday season. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.